Hey y'all, happy Monday. Happy Mogul Mindset Monday. Hopefully you can hear me. I have my headphones in. I'm doing this with my headphones because my mic is not working. I've literally been trying to go live for the past hour, and for whatever reason, my webcam won't connect, my mic won't connect, all the things won't connect. But I wanted to still try to come on here and get what I needed to get out, because I know that this information is urgent to some people who are calling themselves in the middle of a pivot right now. And so, if that is you right now, you definitely need to tune into this live, and you definitely need to be asking questions. You should be in my DM after this or during this. And you definitely want to step back and do a little bit of a reassessment of your own business after this live is completed as well. So, what we are talking about today is pivoting during times of uncertainty. And so, the thing is that you have to consider is, are your offers available for scaling? Can you scale the offer that you have? Okay. Most of the time, when we start a business as small business owners, we are starting a business from the point that we wanted a side hustle, we had a dream, we had a talent, we had something we were just so excited about, and we wanted to put it in to play to help us generate some sort of income. It may have came out of necessity, it may have came out of just being for fun. Whatever the reason for that being, it came, right? And so the thing is, hey, the digital life, the thing is, you definitely have to figure out if you're going to be in business long term, and I mean long term sustainable, you have to figure out how you are going to have scalable offers. That may come with a few different things. They may come with you determining that you may have to clear out some old offers that are no longer aligned. That may come with you determining that you may have to create some new offers that are better aligned. That may come with you determining that you also have to do maybe a few other things, such as consider your time, your team, and the transformation that you are giving for the offers that you have available or are wanting to create. Because the way that you are marketing these things now is very, very different. And so, because of so many things going on around us that are not within our control, we have to focus more on controlling the things that are actually within our control. And when you spend more time doing that, it becomes a little bit easier to accept mentally first that you should be looking to do some sort of pivot, but also start bringing it into the physical and start actually putting actions and steps towards that pivot, right? And so, what I have noticed, like I said in the past, is that a lot of us start a business and we don't think of an offer at first as being something that we're going to scale. And so, because we don't think of that, we don't think about times like what we're in right now that may require us to actually have to rethink our business model, rethink our offer, rethink what it is that we are doing in and out each and every day, rethink our habits, rethink our mindsets, rethink pretty much everything that we have going on, especially for those of you that do not have systems in place. You have to get to a point to where you understand that you're entering into an era that you do not have the capacity to ignore AI or any form of an electronic or automated system that is going to be able to help you generate income. You can no longer ignore it. You have to figure out either how to build these systems on your own or be prepared to invest in a expert that can help build these systems out for you, or at least a digital product that shows you how to actually do these things, right? And for a lot of you all, that'll help take a lot of the stress out of what's going on. But you also, even before you even do that, have to get to a point of where you determine whether or not, again, your offers are actually scalable. So let's kind of review what that really means and what that really looks like from a small business standpoint. Because a lot of people are not even aware as to what that actually looks like from a small business standpoint. And so when you start looking at like Fortune 500 companies that started small and they started working their way up to being big box name brands and companies, you are starting to see, you will start to see how where they started is not where they are now, right? So, like if you think about Amazon, and I know people kind of get over like the references of like the big name companies, but the thing is, the model and the blueprints are there for you to follow and replicate if you can. And so, there always will be a great point of reference when you're looking back at those. So, let's think about Amazon. Amazon started inside of a garage. That's where Amazon started, right? You also have companies that started off with one product. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head right now. You also have companies that started off with one product, but then they shifted to a completely different product because whatever product they had didn't align with the response to the market that they were looking for, and they didn't feel like it aligned with their brand. And I want to say, what was the brand that did that? Car makers are a great indication of that. You have some car makers that actually started off doing some sort of other product at first, and then they turned around and they actually started creating the actual cars that we see today. But they didn't start like with the idea that they wanted to manufacture vehicles. So because of that, because they went and tested their product or that idea in the market, and they then realized that it wasn't exactly what it was that they wanted to do, they decided instead of leaving the market completely and leaving business completely, they decided that they were going to do something different. They were going to reintroduce a new point of their brand and a new product into a market that they thought was better fit based off of the response that they had from the first initial product or service that they released, right? And then looking also back at Amazon, like I said at first, Amazon started off in the garage. If you think of where Amazon is now, Amazon has a lot of real estate. Okay. So Amazon is not just in the business of having multiple items available on a marketplace platform for you to be able to order and have sent to your house pretty much anytime and anything that you want, right? They're not just in the business of that. They're also in the business of real estate. I guarantee you, most of the warehouses that they have across the country, they actually own those warehouses. They're not actually paying like rent for those warehouses, right? So because of that, that helps, I would say, probably keep their costs down because they're not having to necessarily move when the owners or the managers of the real estate have different things that they maybe wanted to shift and move. They can shift and move whenever they want to. They control the playing field as to what they can have stocked up in every warehouse, right? But just to think that that's where they are now versus where they started before, they started in the garage, but now they have millions of warehouses across the country, which is built into their real estate portfolio because that's another way that they're generating money, right? So when you look at your business model, you have to look at it in ways like that. You have to look at it in ways, even if you didn't start thinking about it like that at first, you have to think about it in ways once you start seeing things around you evolve, once you start seeing things around you change, once you start seeing markets change, once you start seeing people's financial situations and stuff like that change. As much as we don't like to admit it, yes, we will always be thought conscious about there's always somebody out there available to pay me, and there always is. Like I told you all before, one of the three things that you're either going to do with your business, which I've been saying for about a year and a half now, is that you're either going to go high, go wide, or go deep. And there are people that are willing to purchase at every one of those levels. You just have to figure out what level associates with your brand and the offers that you have. If you are somebody who is a product-based business and you're just like, well, Tamika, I can only make so much product. Yes, that means that your business model currently is not scalable. But if you wanted to scale that, it will require you doing what? If you're somebody that makes handmade products, it will require you doing what? Looking into, well, how do I get a warehouse or industrial space? Looking into what it looks like to actually hire either a third party situation to curate formulas for me that can go into manufacturing, or they could just help me generate what I'm already generating now. Or maybe it's me and a small team of people that are just getting outside of my home instead of me doing it in my home and having a small warehouse space to be able to operate and function. Maybe it's just that for the start, and then we'll move up to saying, well, how can I start getting in the industrial space in terms of manufacturing? Those are some things that you have to evaluate. You also have to evaluate your cost of your product. So if you are somebody who is just making products and you're not evaluating what it actually takes to actually make that product, you're not going to know whether or not the time and energy you're putting into that product is actually worth it because you do not have your costs, your cost of goods, right? So when you're looking to see if you're going to make a profit off something and you're looking to see if it's actually going to be worth your time, you have to consider that. You have to consider what that looks like financially as well too, especially when you're getting ready to go and get like business loans and grants and stuff like that for your business. You won't know how much to ask for because you don't have those type of financials ready, and you want to make sure that you're always considering that. But also too, that just because you're selling a product, you're still not underselling yourself by not knowing what the actual cost of goods is to even create that product. Because you could be underselling yourself with that product that you have because you have not considered all of the products that you need to actually create that particular product. It could be under your margin, right? So as a as a product-based business owner, those are some things that you have to consider in terms of expansion, in terms of pivoting, in terms of wanting to see if your business model is actually going to be scalable for you and the products that you have are actually going to be scalable for you. The other things that you might want to consider as well too is if you're a product-based business owner that has a lot of different products instead of like a suite almost of products or different collections of products that actually go well together. Because when you usually create in the form of like collection or suites of products, then you kind of put yourself in a position to where if the person was to purchase their product, more than likely they're going to have to purchase their whole bundle of products. I said sweet. They're going to have to purchase their whole bundle of products to be able to properly get the result that it is that they're wanting to get. And it's your job as a product-based business owner to market it in that way and let them know what they may be missing out on if they only bought one and not the whole system. This is why I be so hard about systems, because things work in systems, even around us every day in the world, right? Things work in systems. Things are cyclical. So it should be the same way in your business. We know we go through a haircut business. My hope is that you don't just have a shampoo and you don't have a conditioner. My hope is that you offer both of them. My hope is that you don't just offer one, right? My hope is that you have the shampoo, the conditioner, hopefully some sort of regular everyday hair dressing that I can use to moisturize my scalp. If you got a leave-in that can be used, cool. Some sort of a system that's going to give me a holistic transformation is better when you're looking at product-based sales. That's always going to be better. Always, always, always. And when people like something, when people like one thing of what it is that they're using, they're usually going to look for more products that align with their same brand to continue using them as well, because they have already built trust in what it is that they have purchased. So when you think about it like that, you start to make your business scalable instead of just saying, well, oh, I just sell like the shampoo bars. I just sell those and that's it. Well, where's the rest of the system? And then what does the rest of that system take for you to be able to build it out and make it scalable? Even if it was just you and a small team of people manufacturing the products and you having scheduled drops or something like that. There's a young lady that I follow on Instagram. I love the way that she does her drops. She does her drops when she does her drops. The other time, the rest of her time, she does spend manufacturing preparing for the next drop. But her in between money is she does hair behind the chair. But people know when she drops her product, she manufactures enough for their drop. And once they drop it, sold out until the next time it's released. She has built enough know, like, and trust, enough awareness around her brand, and enough safety and security, if you will, around that brand to be able to have some form of control, right? So she doesn't have to necessarily be stressed out about like, oh, I got to make this amount of sales, this time today. she knows that her daily income is going to come from her actually doing her client's hair, but it also comes from the fact that she's doing her client's hair with her products, because that kills two birds with one stone. If she has these products for sale and she's actually doing the client's hair with these products, that gives her a chance to showcase and market in real time what it is that she's doing with that client, and how people at home that may not be able to brace her chair can get the same results. So when you're in a product-based business, hey, Brittany, hey, Couture, when you're in a product-based business, you have to start thinking a little bit more creatively and flexibly about the options that you have, so you can be able to kill multiple birds with one stone, right? Because you're already squeezing all of the time that you have to be able to function as a small business owner and as a one woman or one man team. So you have to start thinking creatively. She's created a system. The system works. Like I said, she only has drops, I think it's like every other month or once a quarter or something like that. Her product stretch out probably over a period of 90 days. So usually she already knows the buying cycle of her customers. The buying cycle of her customers say, hey, by the next 90 days, they're going to be ready to buy. So she probably doesn't do her drops right at the 90-day mark. She's probably already like trying to get you primed and ready for you to make your next purchase by like that day 45, day 50, going into like the 60-day mark, right? Saying like, hey, the next drop is going to come. We've manufactured a certain number of this. It's going to be available during this time. You got to get it while it's available. And that's it. And she makes some money behind the chair in between those times. That is a system that she has created that works well for her. When you're in product-based business, you have to think about things like that, right? For a service-based provider, it's always going to be for sure you looking at time, whether or not you need a team, and then what is the energetic capacity that you are exerting for completing and offering that service or that thing, right? So if you're a service-based business, I'm honestly going to tell you right now in this live, while we're talking about pivoting in times of uncertainty, you need to figure out some form of digital products that you can add to your service, to your offer suite, that can help you make money in between services and in between clients. You also must consider serving a larger client. We are entering into the space to where a lot of service-based businesses are not going to be able to only do direct consumer work. There's just not enough. I'm gonna say there's just not enough secure financials to go around for you to be able to just know that you're always going to be able to go direct to consumer. Especially again with so many different shifts that are happening, you have to think 10, if not 20 steps ahead at this point if you're a service provider. Who is at a higher level that you can serve that can pay you more for doing some of the same work, if not less, because sometimes it'll end up being less, but they actually have budgets and things like that available to pay you. You have to get comfortable with shooting your shot. A lot of service-based business owners shrink themselves and they don't shoot their shot because they don't know how to articulate that type of transformation and value into their service work. So you can go from just being somebody who does what Brittany's on here, she's a personal trainer. You could go from somebody who's just doing personal training one-to-one, which is very limited because there's only so many clients that you're going to be able to do one-to-one, right? So as a personal trainer, you either are probably going to have an online training system to where you can scale and reach people at a global basis, but you have to market super heavy for that, right? You have to really build a personal brand that's very, very well known and well engaged to be able to offer something like that. Or you might find yourself doing things for larger groups or organizations. They have wellness dollars that they have available to be able to pay you to be able to do those things, right? So now what you would have made in a month from that one client, you probably just made 10 times over from that one organization. You have to start thinking more strategically about it, right? And if there are other things that you can offer, because even with us being service-based business owners, if you have specialized certifications that you can offer some sort of service or something like that in between, that can kind of, even if you are shooting for like those organizational or corporate dollars, you still have to think about your in-between cash flow. This is the importance, again, of having a system, right? You have to think about that. Pre-planned cash flow is always going to be great, right? But you can only count dollars that are actually in your hand, right? So even if you have pre-planned cash flow, you can still think about, okay, well, what is my daily cash generator that I can offer each and every day that I wake up that doesn't necessarily require me to do a lot of exertion energetically, but I can still know that I can generate a certain amount of dollars in a week with this everyday cash flow opportunity. So you have to strategically structure out your business like that to make it make sense. This is what I would say that you would have to pivot to, because a lot of small business owners don't have the structure right now. And I know a lot of small business owners are trying to figure out what exactly does that look like for what they do. But also, even before that, trying to figure out, well, how do I even pitch my business and start telling people what it is that I do? Because for some reason, sometimes I notice that we all know what we do until we have the opportunity to actually say what we do, and then we just like we don't know what to say. And I don't know why, but that's what happens. Brittany, your question: what is the best way to connect with those bigger companies and organizations? Here in the landscape of Memphis, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. It's all about who you know. Unfortunately, it should not be like that, but it is. Here, that's what it's about. It's about who you're connected to and who you know. But I will also say too, if you do your research and really like figure out like who's the person you should be talking to, you can also make connections and put yourself in front of an opportunity that way as well too. One thing that I can say is that you definitely have to focus on building a brand that is outside of you and that shows a lot of community engagement, because when you start looking at corporate dollars, they are definitely going to want to consider what they call corporate social responsibility. So how is this going to help us look good to our community, build economic development by us saying, hey, we did business with a small business, so we know that we're feeding economic development here in the city that we live in, and we can be able to document this and say, this is a good deed that we did with the business here that lives locally. We decided to invest in them by booking them for a service or a project or whatever. You can shoot your shot for those, because they're always looking for opportunities where they can highlight themselves being great in corporate social responsibility. It makes them look good. It makes you look good. It helps you build your portfolio, and it helps you also build your confidence to say, if I did this once, I can keep doing this again. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question. Let me know. Let me see, ladies, Entrepreneurship Club, welcome. You agree? This is great. Thank you, Couture. But yeah, so when I'm talking about, like I said, pivoting here on the live today, I'm talking about like, do you have a structured system that helps you be able to integrate that easily? And if not, what is it that you need to do so you can integrate that a little more easily? So I feel like the thought process behind it can be a little easier, but the actual work of the thing is going to be hard. I'm not going to tell you that it's not going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It requires a lot of work. But if you can get past the mental space of saying, why would somebody even pay me that may be in those organizations or in those corporate spaces? Why would somebody even book me direct to consumer? Why would somebody even want to buy my product? Whatever it is, you have to get past those mental roadblocks for sure. And I know a lot of time when small businesses are looking to try to offer their products and services to larger spaces, those are some of the mental roadblocks that they have, because they just feel like it's so intimidating. And I'm trying to tell you, these are just conversations. They are human beings. You are just having conversations. Sales is just a conversation. That is it. The worst thing you're going to be told is no. You're not going to die. No matter how bad things may be, if you're like, Lord, I really need this sale, I really need this to come through, even if somebody does say no, God going to send somebody else. It's going to be made up somewhere else, right? It may not have been no completely. It may have just have been no, not right now, right? And then you also have to kind of take your personal out of it as well too, because you have to think like how a business thinks. A lot of organizations just got their budgeting for the fiscal year of the mid 25 to 26, right? Because some people do their budgeting from July to June. Everybody doesn't do a fiscal year from January to December. So for organizations that get their funding dropped in July, which the city of Memphis does. That's usually when they get their funding drops. Usually by like March, I say by like March, Aprilish, they kind of running low on funds. So you might not see as many opportunities that are available because they're waiting, kind of just like stretch out what they have until they get their next drop in July. I've seen that happen with the past client. So you have to think strategically, even if that is going to end up being something that you consider your bread and butter, you still have to think strategically. Again, what is going to be that in between cash flow until that cash gets dropped? Because if they run out of money to pay you, they can't pay you. Unfortunately, they should, but they can't pay you, right? So you'll have to wait until the new budgeting comes in for you to be able to receive your money. And it's not supposed to work that way, but trust me, sometimes it does work that way. So look at your offer suite right now. And your offer suite in terms of a product-based business is going to be the types of products that you have, whatever products that you have. Look at what sells well. If you know that you have products that have not sold well, you need to ask yourself these questions. When is the last time that you put a full-blown marketing campaign behind that product or product line, even if you want to look at the whole line? When is the last time you put a full-blown marketing campaign or effort behind that product? Right? If you have, how well did that marketing campaign perform? Okay. How well did the sales of that product go? If they didn't go great, go back to revisit the marketing campaign, the results of the marketing campaign. What went well? What did not go well? If the sales didn't go great, something happened in visibility and the way that you're conveying your message. So visibility and messaging. If the sales didn't go well for the product, it's either visibility, messaging, or your audience. Those are the only things you need to look at. And pretty much for service-based business, you can kind of say the same. So if you have a service that you know you have put a full throttle marketing effort or campaign behind, and for whatever reason, it may not have went well. So how did the marketing campaign perform? See if it went good or if it didn't. If it didn't go well, go back and see what worked in the marketing campaign or what didn't. And I guarantee you it's going to be between your messaging, what did I say? Jesus. It's going to be between your messaging, in your service-based business, it also may be your pricing. Pricing can be pricing too. But in service-based business, I feel like pricing is more of a thing, for sure, because some people will kind of size you up in terms of where you are in your expertise, what this one person may be offering versus you. If there are multiple people that they know that do the same product or service, they may be doing a little shopping. And as consumers, we naturally do this. It's okay, right? So again, you have to think about these things and not necessarily take them personal, but you definitely want to look at those things, right? Now, if you look at their marketing effort and your visibility, your messaging, your audience, there you go. Kind of your visibility, your messaging, your audience is intact and your sales did well, I would say you really need to focus on pushing that product and creating more of that product and seeing how you can get more eyes on that product, right? Or service if it's performing well. But for the ones that are not performing well, there probably is no reason for you to continue to exert expenses on them or energy on them, right? Retire those old offers as a service-based business owner. If you know that offer is just, you tried to really push it and it didn't work, you gave it like a good 60, 90-day effort and it didn't really work the way that you wanted to, either revamp it or retire it. Come up with something new. You are not limited on ideas. Trust me. I guarantee you, everybody that's watching this live has had a million ideas today already. So you're not limited on ideas. You're not missing on ideas, right? You have more than enough ideas. The thing that you have to clear from your mental space is being willing to actually try them and put some consistency and effort behind them. Because I know we're really good about giving something like between 14 days to 30 days. But that's really not enough time to actually gather data on something
And sometimes it is. It really just depends on what the strategy is and what the approach is going to be, quite honestly. And what the industry is as well, too. That can really determine something. Because, like, say, for instance, if you were in the tech space and you were building an app, 30 days is really not going to be enough time for you to gather enough adequate data. I think for userability of people like downloading, engaging, um, putting stuff in the app, you taking data from the app, whatever. Like it's just not going to be enough time unless you really have a lot of people that's really downloading the app. Like it's going to take more time, right? So you have to think about all of those things. You have to consider those things that you can control and those things that you can't control. And again, like I said, build out your systems. What are your systems going to be to make sure that you have daily cash flow, to make sure that you have stuff that is actually more reachable now? Because again, times are different. Is it always going to be somebody available to pay you your highest price? Yes, I absolutely will always believe that. I would never not believe that there's somebody out here that is not willing to pay my highest price and they can't afford it. However, we're also in a time where some people need different offers. And if you're serving those people that need different offers on a lower scale, get those digital products and stuff like that out there. It's easy. It's one-time creation for you to create it and actually put a strategy, a digital marketing strategy behind it. So it's not just about creating it, but the next step is how do you drive traffic and then put a marketing strategy together to actually go with it so it's actually performing and doing what it is that you need it to do. And I'm saying again that it's not easy work. It's hard work to build the traction, but once it's built and once it's operating, it's easy, right? And you just rinse and repeat from there, right? But ideally, this is what you should be looking at in terms of pivoting during times of uncertainty. I know a lot of people are trying to figure out what that looks like for their business. If you have not booked your cash and clarity session with me, they are $555 right now. It's a 90-minute session that is great for stuff like this: strategic planning, product launches and product implementation, project management. If you have a very specific project that you need help with in terms of a strategic plan, it's a great time for you to book that and get assistance with it, get professional assistance with it, right? If you need systems training, systems and automation training, because you're not sure how to build up out the system that you need, these are the sessions that are great for you to come in and do that. There are third party platforms available for you to pay. So Afterpay and Klarna is available at checkout. If you need those, I have to send you a special link though. If not, you can go ahead and book your slot at the link in my bio and in the comments wherever you are between Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. You can book them, and I'll see you in your session. Currently, there are only 8 left for the month of July. You do not need to delay on this anymore because the longer that you spin your wheels about, well, what is it that I do? And I literally really just told you what to do here on the live. But if you're like, you need more targeted attention and direct help, you need to be booking a cash and clarity session. My formula for gaining cash flow is clarity plus confidence equals coins. When you have clarity, you will build your confidence and you will be okay with asking for your coins. When you don't have clarity, you lack confidence and you shrivel up to ask for your coins. That is the problem. Okay? I'm telling you, those are the problems. I've done this work for a long, long time. Also, if you are watching, book your free slot in my webinar that's going to be hosted on the 28th. Three things that a founder needs to be aware of when building out a business to scale without losing their sanity. Okay, go ahead and book your free slot for that on the night of the 28th. It's a free webinar. You can be anywhere in the world visiting this, but I'm hoping that you all come so I can show you what I've been working on since I'm not doing any more one-to-one coaching direct to consumer. I'm only doing that work with partnership with organizations to bring that to you. But I have another way that you can work with me if you decide that you would like to do so. It's definitely in a membership in the form of community and membership, right? And that's the only place that you will be able to catch me to be able to do any coaching. So if you're interested in any of that, again, click my Linktree link in my bio, in the comments, and I'll see you at your session and on the webinar. Talk to you all later.